Okay, folks, good morning. All right, so we're trying to finish up this U.S. soldier we have here with the cold weather gear. Let's see if we can remove this from the equation. Now we don't have to look at this because we're going to put the same colors right back down. Where is that stuff over here? Favorite streamer ever. Okay. I'm glad I was able to make your day. Somehow I doubt it, but all right. I don't watch anybody else, so. Good morning to you, or good afternoon, or wherever you might be. Yeah, I think we need to do the, what were we doing for the skeleton bone? This right here. I moved all my brushes and they're not where they're supposed to be. Worked on quite a few things yesterday that were not in the sanctioned area. Meaning we took the hobby. I still miss some. Good Lord. Worked out in the living room. We had the wife was cooking, and I'm like, well, let's go hang out with her. So all right, so this we're going to do the bag back here. Let's go a little bit darker than that. These plastic figures have a fair amount of detail on them. And it's generally well proportioned. It's not heroically exaggerated. On the actual figure, generally. So I'm not sure why they did get discounted. I mean, there's a lot of people that I'm sure still paint these, but maybe it's because they come with multiple figures of the same pose, same pack. They're like, they're just army men or whatever. I'm just concerned about the paint coming off from handling them. So we're going to have to treat these things like they're made out of paper mache and you got wet hands. It reminded me of a grade school experience of paper mache. I always wanted you to have paper mache and like bring like milk cartons and stuff and toothpicks and paper mache and spray paint, and I'm like, the hell we even, what are we building? That doesn't matter. Okay, okay, Picasso. It doesn't matter what it looks like. That's not art. That's crap. Yeah, man, I hadn't thought about that in a long time. It's like fourth or fifth grade. I can like picture the art room where it is. I didn't like art as a kid because they just made you make bullshit. They made you make stuff that will make it appeal to everybody. No, you just made it appeal to nobody. I don't know. Maybe they don't even have art in schools anymore. Who knows? What's up, Bundeman? Herr Wunderbar. We're going to try to do something interesting next weekend. We're going to try to make some snow terrain. I don't know how that's going to work. Not snow terrain, a snow map. Resources to go to sleep. You're welcome. It's good to be a calming presence. If I'm not on, I can recommend some other people to have channels that literally put me to sleep. I don't mean that in a bad way. One person I listened to, I haven't listened to him in a while, but the meter of their voice has got to be much better than mine. But he's extremely calming. He's actually one of those people that when I started watching him, like, I could do this. But I think he puts the camera on and doesn't move it, which I really don't. I don't really move the camera much either. But at least what I'm doing is on the camera. I love you, T-Bone. Well, even Hitler has a fan club. Unfortunately. I really don't like these. What are these silly things called? I keep wanting to call them puttees, but that's not right. Uh, Gators. They just seem really impractical. Like just give the guys taller boots, and you don't need those things. All right, and this should be the core color here. And see, this guy is Bishop. Billy Bishop. Yeah, we're going to leave the boots for last. It's a precarious thing to paint until the very end. So we worked on an M10 tank destroyer yesterday off camera. And built some junk out of green stuff that's curing right now. I'm afraid that's one of those things that seemed like it was a good buy. Maybe it wasn't that good of a buy. I've had to do quite a bit of enhancement to it to make it look decent. All right, and the shovel is the gray, green, and the wooden shovel color. Got it. These guys are a bit on the boring side because they all have the same equipment. But I'm probably going to mix these guys up, or at least all these guys do. I'm probably going to mix these guys up with the Normandy guys if I ever have to need. And I'm okay with guys running around with snow on their base. What's up, Marcus? Yeah, I did some off the video stuff yesterday. The wife had to. The wife didn't have to. She chose to. The wife had to cook. No, you didn't have to cook for me. I'll eat fucking crackers. I don't give a shit. So I was out. I took my popsicle stand, or some of my popsicle stand, out to the living room. And I'm like, I need to sort. I couldn't find my little molds. You know, little molds that are made of the recastable stuff. So I was pulling all my sprues, and I'm like, all right, let me sort all my sprues to try to cut them down to size. And man, that's gonna take a long time. I got too many like extra bits that I'd like to sort because they're hard to find when I come across something, but I don't want to really cut like all the extra stuff that comes with like the martyr set from Plastic Soldier Company and have them loose. I mean, sure, they can be in the German box of all the German stuff, but right now they're taking up way too much space. There's too much extra plastic on them. The Thompson guy, yeah. Yeah, this guy's done. This guy's complete. I just haven't sealed him or anything. It's with the Thompson guy, and then we'll base both of them, then we'll have three. And sometimes I just don't feel like painting. Now I was gonna go hang out with her, and and like I don't want to take this over there because the posture working on this would it would ruin me. It would be really uncomfortable to work on painting figures on the counter over there. This is like the only thing I can do, and I can multitask. So I'm like, okay, I'll hang out and we'll chit chat while I work on this. Since it's like the only thing I can do like that. So I started working on that M10, and man, it's going to need a lot of enhancement. It was like one of those things like, man, this is a good deal. And after a while, it's like, man, it's not a good deal. It did come with a breech, but it didn't come with a way to attach the breech. It's just like, here's this piece, have fun with it. I'm like, there's not even any prongs for it to go. So I had to like build something underneath for it to go. But it'll work. At this point, I'm like, I have it. I might as well do the best I can with it. Light hobby week for me. Got to travel Wednesday afternoon through Friday evening gymnastics competition. So these 2 weeks, it's your turn, right? Because sometimes, I guess both of you never go, huh? You take turns double teaming the. See, that makes more sense than having more kids than adults. You get double coverage on the kid. But if you have two adults and four kids, I'm like, I don't know how the hell people do that. You always had double coverage too. I feel like there's something in my. Oh, it's a nick. I have a small nick in the thumb. I mean, really, really small. Okay, good. It's not a. Wow, my vocabulary is just going out the window. Splinter. Not fully awake yet, I guess. Having one has its advantages. Yeah, like you don't hate one. Oh, that's the one I don't like as much. Say, no, I love them both. Nah, if you got multiple kids, there's one you don't like as much. You can't tell them that. Well, you shouldn't tell them that, but guaranteed there's one you don't like as much. Well, I signed up to go to the convention yesterday, which I don't know. I might regret. I could unsign up for it as well. Now, I'm paying $45 to go play in one game that I don't really want to even play in. But it gets me down into a general area, and then I'm going to go to the hobby show the next day. So, and then I'm going to come back on Saturday and still have. We could still do Monday. We could still do Sunday morning hobbying. I'll still have a weekend. It's the 24th. That Friday the 20 something. So I guess that day we won't have any Friday morning. There won't be any Friday or Saturday morning on that weekend. 25th, 26th, something like that, of April. And they don't have anybody there signed up for it that I'm like, oh, that fucker. Because they'll actually say who signed up for it. And like some people I don't know, but some people I do. Sorry, I got a bad attitude about it, but I've had bad experiences with so many people. It's not about winning, it's about these motherfuckers aren't having a good time and they're ruining my experience. I'd rather react. Yeah. Wow. We're gonna have a fun day today. Interact. All right. I need to find a picture of a Thompson, and I don't really want to go. I don't really want to stand up and get a book. So you got a dog duty again the week of the 20th, so better for me. The walks interrupt your mornings a bit. Not too bad though. Good morning, friend. Blessed week for you and your family. You too, man. Be well. Enjoy beautiful Switzerland. And Switzerland doesn't use the euro, do they? Like, screw that. We got stronger currency than that. Yeah, the Swiss haven't been in any wars in a long time. Last time the Swiss was in any wars, they were wearing those froofy clothes. I guess they made so much fun out of them and all those battles that they're just like, you know what, we'll just set this out from now on. No, they had Napoleonic regiments, didn't they? I think so. That's I think the last time. They might have just been volunteers. All right, Thompson, Thompson, cigar. No. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll use beige brown. I'll use beige brown. Switzerland's not one of those places that's getting tariffed, is it? I wish you'd do something with the shipping prices, man. I don't care about the tariffs. It's those shipping prices that are crazy. Switzerland's last war was the Sonderburg War, 1847. The Civil War, so Switzerland was fighting itself. The worst game, the worst game I have ever played by a country mile. That means by a long shot. Is a game that kind of involved Switzerland. It was a map of Switzerland. It was this game that the map was basically Switzerland in two colors. It might have had a third color in it. It was all made up country. So it was like a made up world, but it's all on the map of Switzerland. And it's called Soldier King. And it's the most miserable excuse for a war game I've ever seen in my entire life. And it wasn't because it was in Switzerland. It was because it was just absolutely god awfully bad. Between conservatives and liberals, most of Europe in those days. Yeah, that was that whole 1848 revolution type thing, wasn't it? Yeah. These boots are made for marching. What's going on here? Why is that so damn wet? Here we go. Something strange is afoot here. Here we go. I'm still not used to thinning my airbrush paint, but my my regular paint, it's just like second nature. Like this isn't applying the way it's supposed to. It really throws things off when that happens that way. So if you don't have time to play military war games, what do you have time to do? There's lots of people that claim, "Oh, I don't have any time for leisurely activities." I'm like, we might as well just commit a crime and get thrown in jail because, like, those people have more free time, seems like. But I'm not going to be somewhere where I'm working all the time. I just, that isn't right. Maybe you're people that enjoy working. I don't. Shipping prices are a pain. Tariffs are going to hit the gaming industry a lot. Most of the components are made in CN. China, Canada, and attract the 54% rate. Well, Age of Empires. Yeah, I played that. I didn't find out about it until it had been out for a while, so it's always a dated game for me. There we go here. Okay, what do we got here? I see a little helmet strap there. Few of the Kickstarters and pre-orders I'm waiting for are going to become unaffordably expensive. They come from the U.S.? I don't know. My impression, like nothing's made here. Maybe it's just nothing I want. Okay. Now we'll let this guy sit. And later this evening or at some other point, we'll end up clear coating them. All right, who's up next? Let's get some other Americanos here. I don't think I want to cut them all out and base them. That seems like I lose momentum when I do that. We got this guy tossing a grenade, the tosser. Well, I hope somebody's making an effort to fire up these factories and make our own stuff with this tariffs in place. I'm talking like medicine and shit like that. Like, all the medicine coming from you know who. Like, really? I figured COVID would have been the perfect opportunity to say, you know what? We need to rely on ourselves more. Nope. And our friends, okay? Not to get political, but the whole tariff thing isn't really to get at the people of the United Kingdom. I mean, the problem is just being painted with a broad. I don't know. I'm not the person in charge. I would definitely go with things about things differently. Yeah, this guy's pretty cool. This guy's pretty cool. Although I think this man, I really can't see that far away. Oh, and you get the raw materials. All the bad guys can't have all the raw materials. That reminds me of one of those terms that I absolutely hate. So why are you going to say it if I hate it? I just want to point it out. One of these newfangled terms that I absolutely hate. Bad actors. How about just say evil fuckers? Right? Oh, we don't want to call people evil. Why? There's some people that are genuinely evil. Bad actors. No, apparently they're pretty good actors if they're getting away with it. Where did we decide, Marcus, that these guys are from? Are these Ukrainian or? Where was Mars from? Evil is a spectrum. I'm not on it. That's rude. Maybe all governments are on it. Probably. Really? Why did that get blocked? Yeah. List of terms that Tony hates. That's one of them. Bad actors. The other one I hate, I absolutely hate, regardless of who I support. I hate renaming the capital of Ukraine. I absolutely hate it. I'm just not going to go for it. It's been Kiev for thousands of years. Nope, not going to call it the other thing. There's not enough vowels. But let's say that you have some kind of a cost increase on these things. And now instead of these things now cost double, right? It's the shipping that's worse. It's the shipping that costs more than the freaking item. So the shipping is where your cost is, not the cost of this. And nobody wants to pay for shipping. You got to hide that in the price, or people will be like, "I'm not paying for that shit." I've even done it myself. I'm like, I'm not paying that much for shipping. It was always in Ukrainian, long before Muscovy existed. Damn Vikings. Well, how would we know? They don't use the right alphabet. Damn Cyril. Cyril, you bastard. I actually like the way those characters look. Come on, man, get with the program. Even the Turks managed to use the same alphabet. Come on, man. Damn you, Cyril. Well, I'm not going to call it that. Just like it's always going to be Madras to me. I don't care what the hell you guys call it now. Burma, baby. Burma, baby, Burma. We don't like the way you say that. Shut up, or I'm calling it Formosa too. We wouldn't have had access to the Bible without him. Well, there would have been some wars that would have just been totally avoided then, right? I never did finish the what was that guy that was doing the podcast? The History of Byzantium podcast? I did the History of Rome one. That guy was entertaining. The Byzantium guy wasn't as entertaining. Okay, we got a BAR gunner, a guy with a grenade. Whatchamacallit's favorite guy, Marcus's favorite guy, sitting here, the sniping from a yoga position. The yoga sniper. Let's just lop all these guys off. The radio guy, and the repeat of these two guys. You like the officer where you, when's your next trip to New Amsterdam? Well, you know what? Last time I was in New Amsterdam, they smoked so much pot there. They should just call it, this definitely should be called New Amsterdam. It's freaking marijuana everywhere you went, on every corner. That's why Marcus really wants to walk the dog. He's just trying to get that second hand high. And it was really bad there. And I didn't smell it once in Spain. Too many people were busy getting real lung cancer in Spain to worry about, marijuana. That's what I thought, that the Gulf of Mexico should have been renamed the Gulf of New Spain. But nobody wanted to go along with me on that one. Just like the original Amsterdam. That's right. I mean, seriously, people say, I'm going to Amsterdam. What do people think of? Window shopping for whores and marijuana. It may be known for all other things, those wooden fucking shoes, Hey, I don't get to pick what places are known for. Last time I passed through New York, I came to the realization that there's a special breed of people that are New Yorkers. No, Marcus isn't one of them, thankfully. They're just like, nobody wants to claim them. Marcus, have you ever done any wargaming face to face in the city? Or there just isn't anybody there? I mean, the complete strategist has a pretty extensive selection. They may not have anything that I'm super interested in, but they have lots of war games per se. I just can't imagine playing a war game and everybody I'm playing against sounds like those kids on Sesame Street. Hey, now, when you guys gonna roll the dice? Yes, once back in the '90s with a colleague at Morgan Stanley. He was a gamer, didn't know World War II. Life kids took over for him, unfortunately. I had one guy. I had a guy. Okay, I had a guy once um, that when I was in my teens, he was in his 20s, so he's 4 years older than me, something like that. And he was a painter, and he had this set, and I think he was a good painter. I don't know, maybe not by standards of today. I don't know, but he had a game that he always ran, and it was a Three Musketeers game, and I always enjoyed. Man, these guys are slippery. They've been Dawn soaked, and then just one day he just disappeared off the map completely. He disconnected from everything hobby related. You can't find out anything about him. And they said wife and kids, and I just can't. I can't imagine leaving this. Like something would have to take. Said something would have to take over. Like you can't pay me to just do family and work. Like I I I'd be locked up somewhere. I couldn't do it. Maybe he really enjoys work. I don't know. I hear about that all the time, and I'm like, maybe he just says, I don't want to war game anymore. I'm going to watch sports instead. He's one of those guys that he's watching a lot of the time that he would normally be war gaming, he would be watching sports or something. I feel like something has to take over these people's life to fill that void. I just can't imagine like, okay, well, you're not going to do this or this anymore. I don't know how people. Hold on a second. Like, what the hell is that sound? So I don't know where these people just they disappear. Maybe it's maybe it's the wife doing like, you're not going to do that anymore, or maybe it's maybe it's them. I don't know. You did a lot less when Tiana was young. Currently, I do something almost every day with occasional breaks from traveling. Tiana's at 10 years old. Might have been a weekend a month. Oh wow, I couldn't do that. I'd go crazy. I'd take up drinking. I don't know. That doesn't solve anything. But maybe it was him. You know, I mean, my wife hasn't unencouraged me from going and doing my face-to-face gaming. That's been all of my own. As a matter of fact, she's been the opposite. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to game on Monday nights and stay up till midnight and screws up my whole week on a game I don't really care about. Well, maybe it was the same case for him. But he disappeared off the face of the earth. Just like got sucked up. But I have to escape into my fantasy world, whatever it is. Everybody else is doing drugs to escape in their fantasy world. I got this. I feel like having kids didn't take away what I was already doing before. It just gave me other things to do. And I'm glad because otherwise I'd just be resentful. Like the whole people that I say, they do wargaming or whatever they do their hobby, and then they retire and they do less of it. I'm like, well, I'm not going to retire then. That's the wrong equation. We want to do more of this, not less. Think this guy's an officer? Maybe. A real officer doesn't call on the radio. He gets other people to call on the radio. They don't get involved with the radio call until somebody's actually made contact. No, he's got a Thompson. Oh, he's an officer. Yep. He's got his 1911 there. I'm glad I'm back on it. Even an hour a day throughout the day makes a good one. Yep, you gotta have something. All right, man, take care. Let's glue these buggers down. Now that we found where our things were. That's about a squat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. I mean, really, an American squat's 12, but, you know, there's always those variations. It'll probably be the last Litco stuff I ever buy. Meaning, I'll buy more of these. I don't think I'll buy any more of their products. Not because they're products. I don't need any more 40 by 15 stands. I have a plenty. All right, where is the thing with the coins? Did I pull it out? There's a down one. That's what it is. It's not anymore. This is just some of them. All right, I'm going to be mindful, and we're going to. It's your turn to watch me. I'm going to take this. I'm going to put it over. That one's a brand new one. Let's take one that's been violated before. Yeah, so did we even leave the house yesterday? I don't think I did. Just spent home and joined the mortgage, as I like to call it. You got to pay for the house anyways. You might as well be here. Yeah, we went and dropped the car off and then went grocery shopping. And I've never really enjoyed grocery shopping, and I dislike it even more every time I go. There's always somebody like in your way. Doesn't matter when you go. Maybe some have a little bit less glue on them. Here's another one. This one's been chewed up by something. I don't know if it has any glue on it. How many we need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. 6. I remember my dad, man. My dad is just so fucking logical sometimes. And he's like, he didn't understand why I was wasting money by putting them on a stand. Like, Dad, they're a cent a piece. Like, you buy anything and it's going to be a quarter. I know, but you're putting them on money. I'm like, stop. Stop. Oh, so you want me to waste more money? Okay, got it. He never understood that. It's an investment. And you get the people, oh, you can't do that with currency. You're you're modifying currency. No, I'm not. It's never going to go back into circulation. It's illegal if I like decided to turn this into a dime. And what the hell are you going to do with pennies anyways? I mean, the only reason I even pick up a penny is because I could use it for a stand. Well, I don't see coins anymore. Like I don't mind dealing in cash. No, I don't anymore. Somebody scared us into using debit cards, and we use a credit card and just pay it off like a debit card. But um, I don't have a use for cash, and it's because of change. Somebody gives you change. It's part of a whole, and you put it somewhere, and then somewhere there's all this change that's not being used. I thought about getting $10 worth of. How am I off on these things? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why can't I count? I must have gone to government schools. I can count. I just can't do algebra 2. That quadratic abortion. God, I hate that thing. It's the work of true communism. I'm not one of those people, algebra is useless. No, it's not. Algebra is really useful. Solving for x, we use that every day, whether you realize you're doing it. But the quadratic formula, I don't like fractions to begin with. I'm anti-fraction. First thing I do with the fractions, I turn into a decimal, then do the work. All right, let's use this more worn out one, I guess, for this. There's a craft store here in the United States that's going out of business called Joann's Fabrics. And I told my wife, hey, we should go in there. Maybe they got some light, because they sell lights on sale. And then she's like, we need to stop buying. Not that we really go out and buy that stuff anyways. Impulse buy. I definitely would not consider myself an impulse buyer. But that's mainly because there's hardly anything that has a good price on it anymore. But it's like, we'll just buy it when we need it. Like, yeah, we don't need to just buy crap just because somebody's going out of business. But I have this little clip-on. It's not a knot light, but it's a little clip-on light that has a little mount for a phone that doesn't work for my phone. My phone's too magnanimous to fit in there. But it's got a power plug in it. It clips on different things, and I took it out there with me and put it on our huge counter, and my wife was doing cooking stuff, and I was working on the M10. I didn't want to paint this out there. So I'm like, might as well do something else constructive. Oh, good. It's not yak shaving day. I have an extra 7.5 minutes to my morning. I'd like to glue these guys down. Actually, let's think about this logically. What's important at this point is to glue. No, I won't have time to glue one guy down and paint him and prime him. No. To roll in the next one. I think we're going to do the grenade throwing. The tosser. The bloody tosser. Had somebody that emailed me last week ago. One guy used to come down for our shows. He's like, hey, I want to know if you're going to play DBA. And I'm sitting there thinking, do you not pay attention to anything I fucking say? Like, no, I'm not. I would play the, because I think they're playing some DBA Renaissance thing. I'm like, why would I play Renaissance? Why would I play Renaissance? I mean, if anybody would, jeez. I guess a couple of guys are doing Renaissance stuff, and I didn't even know they were doing it. Not that I would have done it with them, but like, I don't think they're. I think they're making their own rules. That's fine. Go right ahead and do that. Why would I go and pay and play a period that I'm super interested in that I made a modification for that nobody even told me they were even playing? Like, no, I still wouldn't have done it, but I mean, it would have been like, like, so this guy was like, well, I normally come down for your shows, but your shows have gone down to like 3 people and 4. I'm like, well, that's why I don't do DBA. I went to Historicon and nobody wanted to play. No point in beating a dead horse. And then I talked about this several months ago, or maybe a year ago, that the French rules were, there's this huge jump of people that went on the French rules. Art de la Guerre, the Phil Barker's ripped off rules. So I don't have a problem I have no problem with Phil Barker. My only gripe with Phil Barker is, and I get it, he wants to do things his way, and, but he doesn't do a good job of explaining what he wants to get across, I don't think. So, but I don't have a problem with the man. I think he's a nice gentleman. I've met him once only, but the French rules are a ripoff of his work. But regardless, yeah, these guys, oh, we're going to do this. And then the next convention, nobody there was there. Oh, because they couldn't play. Okay, so this is now the next convention after that, and they're not running them again. Now the people that were all in a big excitement about Art de la Guerre, and I'm going to play Triumph. I'm like, that won't last long. They're nomadic people. They go like, ooh, shiny, and then they do this, and then they try it once, and then they're gone again. I'm like, you're not going to motivate me to jump on your bandwagon if you're not in it for the long haul. That's like Games Workshop stuff. Ooh, buy our new Tyranids. All right, man, these are awesome. Let me save up for them. Oh, they're discontinued now. Like, what? Okay, that's how we're going to glue that guy down. Good. Got that guy. So I happen to look at the game things, and there's no Art de la Guerra being run. Called it. People are just too flighty. Lots of people are like, yeah, I'll be there. They're never there. Nope. I'll be on here every morning unless something happens to me. Unless I absolutely cannot be on here, I'm not going to be on here. And I've been able to be pretty freaking consistent. But I stopped doing that stuff in the scene. They haven't posted the results of a single freaking tournament anywhere. I don't know how you're going to get more people involved, excited about playing DBA when you're doing less than I was. So, oh no, is this dumb bastard? Oh man, he's got a leg sticking off the. We can't use him for that. We can't use the stand for him. We have to make a wooden stand for his happy ass. The problem with being UK's first professional war games rules writer, you get to make your own style, which everyone else follows. Just reading a rule set from the 70s. Read like English essays. Yeah, you need bullet points. I just don't. I don't want to get it. I don't want to get the rules wrong. That's not mine. My intention is not to take a rule set. It's like, oh, there's all kinds of loopholes. We're gonna have a field day with this. I don't want any loopholes. I want to play the thing correctly. I'm not like some fat cat that's like, oh, let's go to this country. Why? Because we can just not pay any taxes at all and get around the system. I don't want to get around the system. I want to do things correctly. If there's a loophole that's obviously wrong, we all agree that's incorrect. Let's fix it. Oh, we can't. We got to play it that way. No, I'm sorry. Those days are over with. I'm not putting up with bullshit just for the sake of, the community. When the community doesn't show up. There's some people that were pretty loyal that would be there every time, but, you need more than 3 people. And what I don't want to do is, I don't want to play a game for 4 hours, and the first 2 hours are me trying to figure out how to play the game and probably playing it wrong, and the frustration involved in it. And that's what convention games turn into. Hey, play our new game, whatever. Well, by the time you figure the game out, you've done everything wrong, and the game's over with. I'm not your daddy. Go get a job, man. Weirdos. Weird ass millennial. I don't know how I feel about this material. This, what is it called? The movable, repositionable gel. No, I'm not your daddy because I wouldn't have raised you that way. All right, well, this is where we're going to have to stop. Damn it. And I have 2 shots of whiskey and I'm off to work. If only. We'll be back tomorrow. Yeah, I'll show this to you, Jeffrey, since you're still on. This is the M10. We had to do all kinds of shit to it. Now, I actually am okay with the fact that the bottom of it is solid and it doesn't go all the way through, but this breech didn't have anything to attach to. So I literally had to build something out of like a piece of sheet styrene to get it to go down. And it's actually attached from the top. It's not attached on the bottom. It's just, just something you got to do. The machine guns aren't glued in place yet. I think it'll look just fine when I'm done with it, but it is a bit barren. But especially like the tools that are normally back here at the back, these just won't have any tools. I don't have any extra shovels or anything like that, but I did make some stuff out of green stuff to put on here. I got some extra road wheels and things for armor. I got extra tracks to put on the side, so they'll end up looking okay. These two. And it didn't glue together well either. I glued it and then it like wouldn't help hold in place, and that's all right. It made me a better modeler. The challenges. All right, folks. We'll see you guys on the next one. Happy Monday. Bye-bye. You added stuff from the spares box inside the turret also have. Yeah, I've got, I don't know if I want to make extra castings of it. It doesn't bother me that much. It's probably going to have a crew in there. I'm okay with it. It was £9.45 for two of them. I mean, that's not bad. With taxes included. All right, folks. Jeffrey, happy Monday. Bye-bye.